Hello, welcome to Paul Murray Live. I'm obviously not Paul Murray, I'm Janine Perrett, filling in for him this week when he's taking a well-earned break. Would have been a well-earned break even before all the work he had to do last week. I don't think it's a sign that he thinks we won't change leaders again in the next week. Maybe he's as fed up with as everyone else is. And that's what I want to talk about tonight before we get to our terrific panel. Two words I usually hate when people give advice. Move on, they say. It covers everything from death to divorce and obviously deposing a Prime Minister. But in this case, I think perhaps we're going to have to. There'll be a lot of books. There's going to be a lot of people talking about it. And I won't use the term moving forward because we know what happened last time. That got overused in an election campaign. But it probably is time we stopped analysing what happened last week, look ahead. But for right now, I just want to look at where we are right now, right this minute, with no election being called. As we know, on the day he got control, Kevin Rudd said he wanted to build bridges with business. Well, the fact is that everybody out there is affected by the lack of confidence, which is caused by uncertainty. Now, the September 14 date meant that we've lost 6 months. A lot of decisions weren't made, nothing was happening. Well, now we don't even know. That date hasn't even been confirmed. Business had hoped that if Kevin Rudd got in, that the one hope was he might make the election earlier, but that is not looking likely. Let's just look at the new old Kevin, though. He's promised it, his wife's promised us, a barrage of people on the morning television today promised us it's a new Kevin. But you know, the night he didn't give an election date, I thought, now I wonder why that would be. I thought, I know, I wonder is there some summit on around the world, a world stage that he might want to strut about that time. Lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, there's a G20 the week before the September 14 election that was on. Not that Kevin's blaming that. He says September 14 is Yom Kippur. Obviously, the Jewish community had learned to live with that, and I don't know what on earth Julia Gillard was going to do about the G20, whether she intended going or would have looked a bit bad, I suppose, the week before an election, but she was going to manage. But no, Kevin thinks it's important, but as a sop to those who might criticise him for his ego, he says he might even think of taking Tony Abbott along. Can't you see it? Strutting along there with the world leaders. Glad to have you back, Kevin. He can say to young Tony, one day, son, this could be you. If you're lucky, watch how it's done. The thought is just too nauseating. So now we've seen Albo today say that, you know, don't you worry, it won't conflict with the grand final. That's if he goes later. He could go a week later. That would be a preliminary final. That would be the decent thing to do. The best thing to do, of course, would be to go a week earlier if he's worried about the G20. I'm sure the new PM in waiting could still go. But I have doubt that we're going to see an earlier election. I fear that it will be dragged on, and if it is after the grand final, we're looking at early October. Now, we've already, as I said, lost 6 months of business. Decisions aren't being made out in the wider community. And he might say, well, my new cabinet needs time to get there. I need to get my policies. Well, nothing much is going to happen while these people get their feet under the desk. I don't think any decisions are going to be made out of Canberra during that time. So all I say, again, and what everybody's been saying all year, election now. And when you announce the cabinet tomorrow, please put us all out of our misery, and sooner rather than later. Not just for our sakes, for your sake as well. Prove you are the new Kev.